Thank you for joining us today for PwC's Ace the Case session. Our recruiting process allows you to get a feel of our culture, our people, and understand our available opportunities. During today's session, we will focus on why we conduct case interviews, case interview structure, what interviewers are looking for during the case so you can understand how you're being assessed, tips and tricks for a successful interview, and then we will walk through a case exercise. Our goal for this session is for you to feel more confident about approaching your case interview. My name is Gina Vaxolka, and I'm a manager on our talent acquisition team.
My name is Courtney Howard, and I'm a senior manager on our talent acquisition team. You can think of the case interview as a two-way conversation that demonstrates an ability to think creatively in unfamiliar business. PwC's case interview is meant to focus on qualitative and not quantitative responses. We want to see how you structure your approach to problem solving and make reasonable assumptions. During the case interview experience, you will have the opportunity to showcase your critical thinking and communication skills. During the case interview, we want you to learn about your ability to structure your approach to solving complex problems, use appropriate frameworks to solve problems, make reasonable assumptions, be comfortable with numbers, arithmetic, and analysis, and act professionally and generally client-ready. To further prepare, you can familiarize yourself with the case interview structure. You can expect the case interview to be divided into 4 parts during a 45-minute interview. You can expect the first 2 to 3 minutes of the interview to be an introduction to the interviewer along with the introduction to the case. Following the case introduction, you can expect 20 to 25 minutes for the case discussion. The case will be delivered to you verbally during this time, and you'll be encouraged to take notes and listen. The next 10 to 15 minutes of the interview will be behavioral questions, and the final 2 to 3 minutes of the interview are reserved for your questions and case wrap-up.
During the interview, your interviewer will be looking at 4 key areas: intellectual curiosity, how you drive an insightful conversation and understand the problem, what is your thought process, are you able to think logically and organize your answers, and this does not mean the right answer. In addition, we will look at our global career progression framework, the PwC Professional. It is foundational to PwC and provides transparency on the skills and attributes to progress within the firm. The PwC Professional's 5 dimensions of leadership are whole leadership, business acumen, technical and digital, global and inclusive, and relationships. Here are some additional tips for your interview. First, the do's. Take the time to understand the questions being asked. It is okay to take notes and ask clarifying questions as you want to listen carefully to prompts. Ask your interviewer questions to gather background information on the case. These additional questions may give you a better understanding of the situation. Develop an approach and bounce questions off your interviewer to test them out. Remember to talk through your thought process and to show the interviewers what you're thinking. Develop a framework in order to make a recommendation. The framework should help to seek validation, as this is important for showcasing the organization of your answer. And finally, be yourself. This is not just about getting it right. Let's review some of the don'ts. Use caution with assumptions. If you make an assumption, state the logic around why you made the assumption. You can ask your interviewer clarifying questions to test whether your assumption is leading you in the right direction. The interviewers want to understand how you'd figure out a problem, not what the right answer is. Assumptions could lead you in the wrong direction, so be sure to ask clarifying questions rather than assuming any information. Avoid making broad generalizations such as, then I'll analyze the market. How? Where will you get the data? What specific analysis would you want to do? And don't try to say that the answer is definitely XYZ. Remember, you're not given enough information to do this.
For our last section, we are going to practice a mock case example. We'll start by laying out the situation. Your client is Prescott Publishing, a major business media company. They have a wide range of product offerings, including general business magazines, industry trade letters, and branded television programming. Performance has suffered recently as print circulation has declined. The client leadership team wants to reboot their offerings with a premium digital product. It wants to specifically target business executives who paid web news offering. The question: the client would like your help to understand the opportunity and whether you would recommend they go forward with an investment. Your first step is to present case facts as you understand them and ask clarifying questions. We understand that Prescott Publishing is a major business media company with many different product offerings. However, their performance has recently declined, so they are looking to introduce a new premium digital product. We want to ask more questions to gather additional background information on the situation, and there's an opportunity to learn more about the background of the digital product. Therefore, a suggested clarifying question would be around the digital product, such as, can you please tell me more about the new premium digital product offering? The question was asked, can you please tell me more about the new premium digital product offering? Since you asked this clarifying question, I can provide you with additional information about the product. Now we learn more about the product. The client wants to become the homepage of the modern executive, providing them with current insights and trends on their industry, subject matter specialists, and relevant data. This product would include deep industry insights and knowledge, analysis of breaking events impacting their company, equivalent to a morning briefing with critical information an executive may need for the day, and a focus on revenue through paid subscriptions. Little, if any, emphasis will be on advertising.
You are encouraged to ask as many clarifying questions as needed in order to start using context clues to fill in any information gaps. The information you uncover from your questions can help to build your framework. Let's take a deeper look at context clues to start filling in the information and determine what additional questions we may need to ask. You learned that print circulation has declined, which is a context clue that the issue is related to revenue. Next context clue relates to the target audience for the new offering. The information given was that Prescott Publishing wants to target business executives with a paid news offering. This is an information gap related to who. How does the client define business executive? With learning this information, we can better understand the size of our target audience for potential profits. The final information gap we're going to look at is understanding the client's investment goals and learning how they measure success. Going back to the original question, you should understand if there is a profitable market for this offering. In order to make a recommendation to the client, you should understand how your client would measure the success of the new product or service offering. You should ask more questions like, what is the client's goal with this new product? And is the goal to increase profitability? Once you've filled in the gaps and determined the information needed to form the answer, you could start to build out your framework to make a recommendation. Your framework will be an initial approach, which may change as you receive more information. Not all components of a framework need to be answered to solve the case or make a recommendation. The client asks if they should move forward with this investment. Therefore, you want to figure out what the profit might look like. The profit will be determined by looking at the potential revenue minus the costs. You'll figure out the revenue based on how many units are likely to be sold by understanding the market, demand channels, and how to price the product. Finally, you'll subtract potential costs by summing up the anticipated fixed costs and variable costs. By asking more questions, you should be equipped with information to make a sound recommendation for the client.
We hope these tips have helped you prepare for your case interview. We have a few final reminders before closing out today's session. Remember to be authentic in your answers and responses. There is no right or wrong answer to the case question. And finally, be confident and thoughtful in your answers. Jean and I wish you the best of luck with your interviews.
Thank you.